Way to drop that. But if I was poof gone, if I, God forbid, got run over by a truck today, the thing that I would want my son Andrew to carry with him, and this goes for my daughter as well, is to say yes to the adventure. Like, life is an adventure. Say yes to the adventure. And the adventure might be, I'm going to go help a friend change a tire because they got a flat tire. The adventure might be, I'm going to take the path least traveled. The adventure might be, I'm going to quit my safe job and go do this thing that I've been meaning to do and wanting to do, that I've been called to do, that I feel like I have a duty to do. And in fact, when Andrew turned 18, I hand wrote him a letter, and the message in that letter, it started off with, son, I want you to say yes to the adventure. And it ended with, I want you to say yes to life's adventures. Because life is a journey. It's an adventure. It's an experience. And if you want to grow old and have stories to tell and experiences to share and wisdom to bestow onto others, it's not just a matter of age, because someone who gets old but has played it safe has no wisdom, has no stories. They're like, yeah, I worked at Walmart for 40 years and retired. And I guess nothing wrong with working at Walmart and retiring if that's your shit. But I think my son and daughter and me and you and everyone in here, they're meant for more. And so I say yes to the adventure. And when you do, you will also deal with adversity and setbacks and challenges, and you'll be tested.
Right.
And it is in the testing that a man or a woman discovers their highest self.
Obviously, your life is an adventure. Like, you've done your 6-week challenges, I think, speaks to that alone.
Yeah.
But what makes that so important, to you that he gets?
Well, because my mom and dad brought us to the United States from Armenia, right? We escaped communism, me and my family. And they're like, dude, you can become anything you want. Like, America's a great country, an opportunity is available to you to do whatever you want. You've got the freedom. No one's going to stop you. But then they were like, hey, go get a safe job, right? You can continue to working at Disneyland, or you can just take over dad's tailor shop, or go become a smog technician, which I did. I got smog tech certified, which I shared on the last episode we dropped. It's boring. It's boring. And I realized, like, I could do all that and all that. Like, I've always had a high level of self-awareness. And I was like, if I do that and I fast forward 40 years, how does my life look? And I was like, pretty damn boring. Safe, but boring. No different than when a lion is plucked from the Serengeti and put into a zoo. Now, the lion that's still in the Serengeti probably has a shorter lifespan, because jackals, hyenas, other lions are trying to kill him. He's going to have to fight off a buffalo, a fucking gazelle, and all this shit. And if he wants to eat, he's going to have to go to war every day to eat.
It's not guaranteed, yeah.
It's not guaranteed. So he might have a shorter lifespan, but he's doing what a lion's supposed to do. He's hunting, he's stalking, he's growling, he's planning, he's seeking that adventure. And then the one that got plucked out of the Serengeti and put into the zoo, 3 times a day, they're putting fresh meat in front of him. But we've all gone to the zoo, we've seen the lion, it just lays there. Just with sad eyes, like dead eyes. Like, if a lion could be depressed, I've seen depressed lions at a zoo, because they're not supposed to be behind plexiglass for us to look at. They're supposed to be out there hunting, running, scaring the fuck out of other animals, because they're the king of the jungle, goddammit, right? And so I realized very quickly that I could play the safe life, but it would be boring, and it would be the equivalent of slow suicide, a slow death. Or I could figure out what adventures lay ahead.
Yeah.
Like, and when I started having those epiphanies, I was working at Disneyland. So I was in my late teens, early 20s. So 19, 20, 21. And I was like, I could probably work here forever. Like, in fact, Disneyland calls them lifers, like the ones that are there for life. You get health benefits, stock options, pretty competitive pay because you're part of a union. Whether you're in my case, I was in restaurants. And so we were part of the hotels, restaurant union. But for being an employee, you get paid pretty damn well with health benefits included and stock options, and you get to Disney passes and all this shit. However, it's going to be a pretty boring life when I fast forwarded to the end. And there was no story to tell. There was no journey to talk about. There was no experiences to be had that were like, hey, can you believe this actually happened to me? Right? Whereas the life I have now from tearing my bicep during a 6-week challenge to jacking up my knee during this particular 6-week challenge with jujitsu, to almost drowning in the ocean with the surfing 6-week challenge, being 242 pounds and running a marathon, training for and running a marathon, because I was like, I'm not going to lose any of this muscle. I'm going to hold on to all my muscle and run a marathon at the same time. It was the most fucking painful thing I did. People were running by me and going, "You're a big muscular dude. You shouldn't be running a marathon." I'm like, "But I am anyway." I'm like the bumblebee. Like I think they say like the bumblebee, according to science, like his body, the bumblebee's body is so big and the wings are so tiny. According to science, like it's not supposed to be able to fly. But I was like, fuck it. This bumblebee's going to run a marathon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I should have probably lost, when I think about it, maybe 40 pounds, right? And then run the marathon. The point I'm making here, though, is like I've got such stories to tell and experiences that I've had. And with time, it's given me wisdom. And so if you have enough self-awareness, you can fast forward to your life and go, the safe route is going to make me that lion behind the plexiglass that's fed 3 times a day. Yes, it lives longer, but it lives a life of slow death.
Right.
Or I could be the one that's hunting, growling, chasing, stalking, planning. And I may not live as long as the one behind plexiglass at the zoo, but boy, do I have some stories to tell when I go to lion heaven.
Right. It kind of reminds me of both the story about what your parents told you to do, as far as think about you could be anything, and then the same thing in what you put in the letter with Andrew. It kind of reminds me of, or makes me think of, the fact that parents tell their kids to use their imagination. You can be whatever you want, imagine, whatever it is that you want, but then some age or some time or some experience, they kind of kill that for their kids, and they stop even allowing them to use their imagination, be realistic. I've seen or heard so many different friends who've told me their parents, like, "Oh, be realistic. I don't know if you can do that," or "That doesn't really make sense," or we don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what your thoughts over there, but it sucks, when you stop using your imagination.
And bro, Steve Eckhart says this best at the project. He says, "I've learned how to parent my kids from my dad." But then when you're there, and you've been to all the projects, when you're there and you hear him talk about his dad, how his dad was pretty much a drunk, never talked to him or his siblings, never paid attention to them, never took interest in them, was just abusive and vulgar with them. Well, he's like, yeah, I've learned how to be a great dad because of my shitty dad, because he just decided to do the opposite, right? Like, that's exactly what I've decided to do. And so it's not like my parents were abusive, but they wanted me to play safe because they felt like, I bet for them in their eyes, they're like, man, we took a big risk and brought you here. Like, that's risk enough.
Right.
From here, just go get a safe job with health benefits and stock options and like retire at the end. You'll get your, whatever, your annual raises and you'll be fine. But I'm like, wait, you brought me somewhere where I could literally do whatever I want. My imagination is my limit. And so short of dying, I know that as long as I'm not dead, I could restart. If I lose everything right now, I could restart. And so, like, what a great story that would be. Right. A story of redemption, right? And so I chose to never limit my kids by saying, we don't do this. It's not the Keuilian way. What if it doesn't work out? Dude, my son's writing music, and whether he wants to take the stage or produce the music like he does on the piano right now, or he wants to write the lyrics like he sometimes does, I'm like, son, I'm going to make sure I have enough time freedom that if you're on stage and you're traveling the world and you're doing a tour, I'm going to be the guy setting up the mic, the fucking wires, plugging it all in, setting up the fucking lights. Chloe, if you're going to have your own YouTube show and you're going to entertain humanity, I'm going to fucking have Ed teach me how to run the fucking lights and the camera, and I'll fucking run one camera while Ed, like, I want to be like whatever they're going to do. And if it all doesn't work out, guess what? We're going to go to the restaurant, we're going to eat our emotions away, and then we're going to go to the gym, and we're going to train, and we're going to figure out what the next fucking adventure is for you. Say yes to the fucking adventure, and what great stories and experiences you will have, man. I think it would be life-changing if more people did that.